Welcome to Chat and Shit, the podcast that's technically about gut health, but who knows what pan the chat will end up in. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Alana. After a life of cabbage soup diets, energy drinks, and travelling the world as DJs,
we volunteered for medical research.
We sent off loads of poo samples and found out that despite being identical twins, our guts are completely different.
Basically the same as strangers.
We also learned that gut health is serious stuff and linked to pretty much everything from mental health to immunity.
When we first started on our journey, our favourite thing to do was to take the experts and scientists out for pints to pick their brains about the latest findings.
So we thought we'd do that again with some of our celeb pals so they can ask the top experts in the world anything they like.
Literally anything. This is Chat and Shit. Today we're going to be covering everything that you wouldn't expect to find in a podcast about gut health, raving, sleep and lifestyle. So she's no stranger to her busy lifestyle. I actually feel tired just looking at you, Hen. At one point DJing all over the world, then coming home every morning to do early breakfast on Radio 1. She now hosts Radio 1's prestigious dance show and has a tour schedule that includes AD and Tomorrowland. That would, honestly, every time I look at your Instagram stories, I'm tired. It's Arielle.
Hi.
It's so fresh.
That's because I don't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning anymore.
Oh yeah, like you must. Well, we can get on to that. Your microbes probably love you now, but
And we're joined by Annabel, our very own Gut Stuff's head of nutrition. Annabel has a degree in psychology and a master's in nutrition. And obviously lives and breathes gut health with us every day.
And she's also a Pilates instructor. We know you love Pilates now.
I love Pilates. Reformer or Matt?
Matt.
See, I'm a reformer girl. Reformer Pilates changed my life.
It's like torture, though.
No,
you like
no.
it.
I'm always skating off it.
We can honestly. Do we want to start here? Should we start here?
dive in.
Because I used to be such a Barry's like hardcore, like HIIT, like boot camp, weights, all that stuff. And then actually, before I got married, I got a hip problem, so I went back to Pilates, which I used to when I was in dance school. But I started Reform Pilates. And I love it. I can do it like 5-6 times a week without feeling like I'm about to keel over and pass out. And I honestly think it's completely changed my mental health and my physical well-being.
Well, I think
I feel stronger than ever.
Really?
More than ever than I did when I did boot camp classes and all that stuff.
Because reformer sort of stresses me out with all different springs and all that. And like,
No, but then you can
I'm
get
all over the shop with it.
I did one even like yesterday, and I'd done like a hardcore HIIT class on Saturday because I got roped into it by my friend Scottish Gemma, lol. And I honestly couldn't walk for 2 days. And I was like, I'll be fine in this reformer class. And it was great because it was done by a ballet teacher, and she was doing loads of more. It was more like stretching reformer, so it's like using the straps to proper get your hamstrings. And I was like, oh, this is delightful. My glutes actually finally unknotted.
Oxygen breathing into the
Well, we
muscles.
should be doing more strength as we get older, shouldn't we?
Yeah, strength to build up your muscles, especially when you get to the menopause and stuff. Particularly, you want to build up that muscle because it's going to deteriorate. But I mean, all forms of movement are going to be complementary, and I think for reformer, Pilates, any type of Pilates is going to be complementary to any form of exercise you do. So getting that mix is going to be good.
And it is actually, so I don't know if you haven't seen Arielle's Instagram, you need to go because your dance moves when you do sets. I mean, it's what you're known for.
That's your wee.
That George calls it my booth twerk.
Honestly, vibes. And there is actually studies around your gut microbes and dancing and how dancing is good for your gut, isn't it? And well, I mean, it's exercise, but dancing is.
Yes, well, dancing is movement, it's exercise. There's loads and loads of research now. Yeah, endorphins. But yeah, they found that diet aside, which obviously is key for your microbes, when you exercise, so you go from nothing to starting to exercise, the microbial diversity increases, as well as you produce more short chain fatty acids like butyrate, which is good for your gut health, but also inflammatory. And then what's really interesting is as soon as you stop, it goes back down. So it's like moving, but also just keeping moving, keeping consistent. So if dancing's what you love and you're doing it all the time, then it's great. Your microbes are going to be loving it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually have like choreography ready to go by the booth, but I just love the music that I play. I think that's kind of, it's quite cathartic, isn't it? I did get told though by a physio that I've got the worst legs he's ever seen in the 16 years of his entire career.
In what way?
Well, because I keep dancing around the booth and I exercise quite a lot, and I think I like to stretch and whatnot, but I had quite bad legs after Glastonbury this year, and I went to get a proper sports massage, and I was like killing, and I've done acupuncture before with the women's like, you've got so many knots in your calves, it's like unbelievable. I think it's because I used to be a dancer and trained from a very young age. But yeah, he was like niddling away at my neck and my legs. And he was just like, you need to be doing this regularly. He's like, I just don't understand why everything's so tight. And I was like, well, I'm only doing reformer now in bars. Sometimes I was like, I don't really run anymore. I don't run. I was like, I do kind of like jump about a bit in my job.
A bit.
And he was like, and watching, I was like, well, I DJ. And he's like, well, how long would you DJ for? And I was like, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour sets, sometimes 3. And he was like, and do you do a cool down? And I was like, well, no. I have had cramp in a set before, which is quite funny. And he was just like, you actually need to start doing a proper cool down because you're making your legs really naughty and terrible.
I also love how this guy probably thought that like you do like wee kids disco stage. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, I'm a DJ. He's like, all right. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he's probably like, you do kids parties on a Saturday. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, tens of thousands of people every weekend.
Actually on top of the booth.
But I know my friend's husband's a physio and he was doing lots of bands on tour, and I think it's like actually a thing now for like big artists. It like lowers, first of all, their like tour insurance because it means they're less likely to get injured and all that stuff. Yeah, but also just like good when you are like traveling and like lack of sleep and long haul and things like that. I think you've got to do all. But I do reformer wherever I go actually. So like I have that class pass and it's so good because like when I went to New York recently, I was like, oh, I really want to do a reformer, and you just get on. And I was like, oh, I found a centre, and I put up on my Instagram like, can anyone give me a bar reformer centre? So it's quite nice. Also, it's a really nice way to connect to like the local area that you're touring in. 'Cause sometimes you can just go to a hotel room, play, and then don't see anything. But yeah, I went to go to one in Argentina the other day, although we ran out of time and did tango instead. But it's just nice to see because it gets you into like where you're.
I love how you said it's such a Scottish thing. If there's a centre to do,
Why?
it's like a studio. It's a studio, is it not? Yeah, well, like I was just looking up the centres for Pilates.
Do you know what I did do? Talking about that tango class, we did this tango class. We're like in Argentina. I got to learn tango, and I didn't have the right shoes. I had to do it in my socks, and then honestly, I was hobbling out, and I was like, I think I've got a scalp in my toe. And my friend was like, what on earth is a scalp? And I was like, scalp, like, do you know, it's like it's like a wee bit of wood. And then she's like, what do you mean a splinter? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that. This scalp, by the way, was mammoth. I'm not even joking. I got on a flight, and obviously the pressure from the flight, I was like, oh, my wee toe was about to burst. And then I got out in Rio. I was like, I can't hobble around Rio. I've got lots of sightseeing to see. I wanted to make as much of this like place as possible. And so I had to get there and like get, you know, my friend to help squeeze out with the tweezers. Oh, see when it came out though, the relief.
Oh yeah,
tour trials and tribulations. You're like, I've got a skill.
I know. I think people's perception of a DJ, especially now you've got so big, would be that, you know, it's unhealthy, it's long nights, lots of drink, and all the rest of it. But it sounds like we've known each other a long time. Yeah. It sounds like you've went more healthy.
I think basically the trend of DJs and their lifestyle has changed dramatically, just purely because people were starting to see the effects of how much like excessive partying can hit, how much excessive alcohol can hit, how much lack of sleep. I think we're just so much more aware of people's mental health and whatnot. Like I remember when I first started DJing and I started asking for a sober rider, because I don't often drink during my sets, unless I've got friends there and then whatnot. But it's more often than not, I won't drink during a set because I like to know what I'm playing and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I asked for a sober rider, and I got to this venue and the guy was like, oh, we saw that you had a sober rider, but we just got you a bottle of vodka instead. And I was like, what? Like, no.
I'm really going to go from coconut water.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Whereas now it's like I have a sober rider and an alcohol rider, and then often like the venues will be like, do you want, what does Arielle want? She want a sober rider and alcohol, and then we just have it like on a doctor's send, and they're so accepting of it. And actually DJs are so much more accepting of you if you turning up and being like, oh, I've driven here and I'm going to drive back. I DJed a massive Halloween thing at the weekend. My friends were going, I was like, I don't feel like drinking, so I'm going to drive there, drive back. They all got a lift home and it was fine. But I think lack of sleep definitely has had such an impact on people, on their like just mental health. And when I joined early breakfast, so my early breakfast schedule was, when I started, I used to have to get up at 2:30 in the morning. It was a live show from 4 till 7 a.m. and then we started pre-recording the first hour, and so I have to get up about 20 past 3 rather than 2:30. And actually that kind of 50 minutes of difference did make a huge difference, because 2:30 felt like the middle of the night if you tried to go for sleep, but 3:30 felt like just really early in the morning. Yeah. But what I noticed I did 6 years in total of like RDs and whatnot, I noticed massive change in my body. The first 3 months I had like this huge rash over me that just wouldn't leave. My hair was falling out. My skin changed completely different. But weirdly, I actually started to sleep better than I'd ever had because I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best sleeper before I started doing that. And then because I was going from 3 a.m. starts in the middle of the week, and then I'd get straight on a plane or straight to a gig, DJ until 3 o'clock. It was almost like the opposite of what I was doing. I'd come back, but I think because I was so exhausted, I just became an excellent disco napper. But I massively have seen a difference in my body since coming off early breakfast and being a bit more on it with like catching up on the sleep debt that I've got to play off.
But our microbes they have their own like circadian rhythm, don't they? So our microbes do so much for our bodies. And if they're not been able to do their job, that could explain all of the inflammation and the rash. And I mean, I'm not diagnosing you, but it's true, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, I think you've made up this analogy before. I've definitely heard one of you guys say it, but we literally think of them as like little shift workers. So you've got like your microbes that are doing like the day jobs and stuff. This is why it's better to not eat too late before you go to sleep, because you want them to kind of finish their job. And then like your other microbes come in at night and then do all the jobs they need to. So you need that sleep. And it's the same, not just for your microbes, but everything in the body. You need the sleep to help like heal and repair. But yeah, your gut microbes, you literally have different ones that are going to be working at night and doing everything they need to do. So they need the time to do it, basically.
Does that work then with like naps? So like say I'd had like lunch and I needed a disco nap in the middle of the day.
What a luxury.
What a luxury.
What a luxury, having a nap.
I can sleep anywhere.
Can you?
Oh, planes,
That's a
trains.
gift.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's why I love flying, because no one can disturb you. And I just literally put my earplugs in, I've got a wee neck brace and an eye mask, and I'm like, boom, out.
Apparently that's a sign of like a happy mind.
Is it?
And like contentment, if you can just...
I find planes really peaceful because no one can email me.
Yeah.
Anyone who dares sign on to Wi-Fi in a plane, I'm like, oh. But no, I do love a disco nap. And I wonder how that works.
No, like
Sadly
eyebrow
not.
space.
No.
It's with your circadian rhythm.
Right.
Like kind of your body's in tune with your circadian rhythm, and so your gut's microbes and stuff like that. So in the middle of the day, it knows... Well, your gut should know, because obviously there's no sunlight, so it's going on what everything else is telling it in there.
Yeah.
So it knows, like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon isn't nighttime. It's not.
I often find that when I'm tired, though, as well, my body craves food because I'm obviously so lacking in fuel. And what I was finding when I was doing early breakfast, I'd get up, 2 or 3, and then I'd do the show, and then we'd have like either a snack after show and then do some pre-records, and then I'd go to the gym, and then I'd sleep, and then I'd get up. And I was having about like 5 meals a day because I was just constantly... I was so tired. And then someone once told me, so I don't know if this is true, but apparently in the training for sumo wrestlers, they actively eat just before they go to sleep because they know that helps them put on weight quicker.
Yeah, well, your microbes might go to... I don't know about... Well, I don't know then.
Yeah, no, someone said
wrestlers, I've got to be
apparently
honest,
it's like if you're training to be a sumo wrestler, they're told to eat as much as they can before they sleep because your body doesn't digest it as quickly as it would if you're awake. So that's...
But the hunger hormone actually is more active, isn't it, when you're tired? Because your body's just like, get me... like.
And you need more energy and stuff like that. But it's interesting because that kind of links to like fasting and what they found with fasting. And when you reduce the window and you stop eating earlier, people have generally found to lose weight and stuff. So, I mean, you are eating in a shorter window, so you're generally eating less, but there could be something behind that as well.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking about like adrenaline and the effect that adrenaline like cortisol has on you. Because do you get nervous before sets?
Oh,
now?
yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I was in Brazil recently and I made it into a bit of a trip. I was with my friend and we went to like Argentina first and Rio. It was my first time playing in Brazil and I arrived on the Monday. The gig wasn't until the Saturday. And even though we were doing all these lovely things, like exploring Buenos Aires and Rio and doing all these wonderful fun things, having nice meals and whatnot, I think it wasn't until I finished the set on the Saturday that I finally relaxed because in my head I was just like, oh, I've got to play this gig, and I don't know what they want. I've never played in South America and what music do they like? And I was like going through like all the data that I have of like my music and where it streams well and what tracks like streamed best in Brazil and like what tracks streamed best in Sao Paulo specifically. And like, but then it was for Tomorrowland, which is quite an international audience. So there's all these things that I worry about. And then my partner says it's the only time I'm quiet, but for like 20 minutes before my set, I just go mute.
Really?
Yeah, I will not speak to
mad,
anyone.
Like their perception, like obviously, like, and this is obviously the key behind your success because that's what you're like looking at all the data, worrying, like you know, like it is. But you like,
I mean, I looked at it, but then I didn't play half the tracks that I wanted to based on that data. But at least I'm like worried about. Yeah, I just.
And people would never know because like. To look at you, it looks like you have 120% confidence and you don't give a fuck and you're just like, I'm playing what I want. You guys are going to love it. I'm bringing the energy. This is it.
I think
it's just mad to...
You can get gigs like that where you just turn up and you're like, I don't know how this is going to go. We're just going to go with it. But when it's something is on that scale, and obviously, and also the Tomorrowland audience, it was like 100,000 people at this festival. So I had the potential to play to a lot of people. And I was really lucky that a lot of people turned out and stayed out. But I always go into a gig thinking no one's going to be there, because I just think if you lower your expectations, you'll always pleasantly be surprised. And I'm like, I'm just going to go out and have a good time. And if anyone turns up, that's great. But so your mind goes into overdrive of just the overthinking. I had to really get used to DJing sober, because I realised when I was not that I was ever drunk, but just I'd had a few drinks for like Dutch Courage, a shot or two of tequila, which I still love. But when you start DJing sober, the first thing you notice is how much you overthink.
Yeah, and how long the tracks feel.
When you would just come off and be like, and I remember saying, I was like, oh, that was awful. My partner was like, that wasn't awful at all. And also, don't say that to people, because they're going to think then it was awful. But it's just, you go, but now I'm much more relaxed at being like, or confident, I suppose it is, of being able to DJ without needing a shot of tequila.
And what like tools in your armory do you have for that kind of like big adrenaline cortisol push? Like, what are your sort of wellness gut tools?
What, when I'm not DJing?
Before and after, like how do you power down?
I suppose actually one of my ways, if I can, one of my ways of relaxing after a gig is actually going out in the dance floor and having a dance.
Yeah.
Especially if I've got friends there who
Seeing
come
the
and sing
pals
to
I
it.
waited.
Well, just like, I love watching other DJs do. I mean, I went on a ghost train after my set at the weekend. Oh. That was sick. It was the most expensive ghost train ever. It was £10, but I went on.
I hate a ghost train.
Do you?
Yeah.
There was no actors that jumped out. I don't like the ones with the actors. No, there was more. It was, what was weird is it had actual human voices like conversing and then shouting, and then I thought there'd be like real actors there, but there wasn't. But I think they stopped that a while ago because everyone kept getting punched.
That's not my idea of fun.
I was going to say, that sounds like it'd be more stressful. Not
No, I know, but then there was a fun. I was like, I haven't been in a ghost train since I was a kid, so I find the fun after a gig. Otherwise, there is a bit of a crash.
Yeah.
And also, if I come back late from a gig and I've gone into the house, I will need a couple of hours to like wind up. Even when I do the radio show, because you know the radio is quite like adrenaline rush and you're chatting away and you're dancing and whatnot. So it usually would take me about 2 hours longer to get to sleep if I've done a late gig or gone straight home, just to mellow out whatnot. I usually do my Duolingo. So
What language you learn?
Oh, Spanish, Espanol.
I don't know any Spanish.
I love Duolingo.
Do you?
Yeah.
You do Duolingo as well.
Yeah, you do it your
What
own family.
language?
Oh, French though.
French.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Oh, and I was in Italian.
Do you know what? I didn't realise how good it is until I went to Argentina, and actually it helped me get around Argentina so much.
Really?
I was having a chat to a guy who owned a ranch for ages, and I was like, oh, we'll come and see your horses. And I was like saying it all in broken Spanish, but I was like, this. My friend Holly was very impressed. But it helps with things like Ibiza and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
When obviously you travel so much, like you're on flights, and everyone's always anecdotally says, oh God, I had a flight, my stomach was,
Oh my God, yeah.
a bit dicky when I got there, or like, just in different cuisines
Gassy.
and all the rest of it. Do you have that? Like, so you must.
Oh, my stomach bloats. Yeah, like I definitely. Someone said that like airlines have special seats, so if you fart in them, no one can hear it or smell them. Is that not true? That sounds like it should.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've experienced other people.
Oh no, I hate that.
You
Like,
definitely can't hear it, I would say, maybe.
I'm sure
white
someone told me like
noise.
that's why they were always fabric like chairs, but now they're all leather, aren't they? I've got my traveling on with like stomach. I've got a few things. I'm definitely much better at eating like now, because I never knew whether I was going to like the plain food, but now I'm just kind of like, I'll pick out what I like and what I don't have. Well, I won't have the bread in the flight because I know that is instant like bloating. I definitely will have a glass of red wine because that's instant sleeping. I don't know whether that helps my stomach or not. But I do things like I'll always take sachets of electrolytes with me. I wear my compression socks like a nana.
What high
Oh, I love them. Yeah, the minute I tried them, I came off my legs were floating. I've always had quite big legs from birth, basically. And I get a kind of bad right leg sometimes when I'm flying, so I just want to be a bit better at not getting anything bad happening. And I have a face spray. I love indulging in skincare for flights. And I will always take just massive bottles of water.
Yeah.
Hydration.
Annabel.
What else?
What else can we do?
I think it like looking at the foods that you're eating, like anything salty or anything like that's actually going to add to the bloating and retention.
Is
That's,
it?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love salt.
Yeah, so a lot of people, what they're going to eat on a plane as well is going to be that like high salt foods, like all the salted peanuts.
Because apparently the plane food has got added salt, so you can taste it, because you can't taste it. Altitude, so your taste buds change.
Oh wow!
So the plane food is actually
added salt
salty
to my plane food.
Oh god, probably going to be a little bit bloated then. But yeah, so trying to avoid stuff like that, drinking plenty of water and stuff as well, and then. We do love fibre, but maybe not too high fibre or too much high fibre in one go.
Yeah.
That's also going to lead to like bloating and stuff as well.
And also like tight pants and clothes.
No, so I'm fine with. I've got the comfiest, like they're called soft trousers from Uniqlo. Oh my god, they're a dream. They're a dream.
And then like they're sort of scuba. They're like scuba.
No, they're like they're just like they almost could be like pajama ones. They're so lovely and soft, like kind of like jersey one. And because what I used to do is wear leggings, but leggings can be quite slidey. And I used to have like cotton flares. My biggest issue is my legs are rather short, so I have to wear platform trainers or some sort of wedge to let my feet touch the ground. Otherwise, my ankles swell up because the blood rushes to my ankles because my feet don't touch the floor.
You're short.
Yes,
you've got like wee child.
So what I've got, you'll see, I've got. So these trainers would be perfect in the flight because basically what I have to do is put them under my feet, or I actually have to have my backpack up my feet so I can actually rest my feet. If they don't have it, because most flights don't have a footrest, do they? But if I don't do that, then my feet dangle and the blood rushes to my ankles.
Is it the same on the toilet? Do you have a dangly feet on the line?
Well, I don't really sit on the toilet. I squat over. I don't sit in an airplane toilet.
Well, I was just talking in general.
Oh no, no, toilets weirdly are okay.
You're fine for toilet.
Some airlines I can sit down and my legs would be like they are now. I know this is not very helpful in a visual.
Wait, so you would squat on the just have your hands on the air thing?
Oh
and
my god, yes.
On an airplane toilet?
Also, because I think I've got this. No, any public toilet.
Oh no, I don't care.
Do you not?
No. Honestly, microbes are everywhere. Microbes are all everywhere. You could get it.
I'd rather get the germs on my hands from the holding on to the wall.
Rather than your butt cheeks.
Because then I can wash my hands.
But it's not going to climb up your bum.
No, I mean sometimes you can, but yeah, ideally. Also, it's a good little squat workout.
Well, maybe that's
good
why
for the quads.
Maybe that's why your legs are so fucked with it. Sorry, I actually squat every time I do.
There was a girl in my college who actually wouldn't drink in the day because she had a phobia of public toilets, so she would never want to go for a wee. So she would do the whole day, like dance training in college, no water, and then wait until she was at home to go to that. Could not be good for you, right?
No, well, apparently there's like
holding in poos as well. Also, not.
Yeah, we met a
Holding in poos
gastroenterologist
not
once
good
that was saying that girls not pooing at school. Like, remember when you go to the toilet, like boys like, you gonna do a poo? Like, no, but if I was, doesn't matter. We had that. We had that. Like, bet you're gonna do a poo.
Lana's just come back from the toilets. She's done a poo, and I'm like, I actually didn't.
Maybe that was just Edinburgh, not Glasgow.
Yeah, probably Glasgow. In Glasgow, they'd be like, you had a shite,
Big fat shite.
Big fat shite,
Big fat shite. When we're travelling as well, is there anything we can do, like we can add in when we're travelling? Like say Arielle's on tour, what could she order off the menu that would help her gut and her microbes, or even help her to like sleep that night? Sleep's a bit of a left field one. Maybe we'll just. What could she add into the menu when she's in Rio, for example?
Good to know.
I mean, anything plant-based, if you can, is going to be good for your gut bugs. So you're going to get more variety, which we know then adds more diversity into your gut, which is just good for your overall health. And then also by increasing more variety, you're going to increase more fibre as well. So that's going to be beneficial. And then just mainly trying to get a balanced meal. So you're saying you're having like lots of little meals to keep your energy up. If you're getting all your main macronutrients into one meal, it's going to keep you fuller and more energized, and you're going to just feel more stable, and it'll take you through to your next meal. Whereas if you're having like super high, like quick release carb meal and nothing else, no protein, no fats, you might be full straight away, but then you're going to be hungrier quicker, and your energy is going to like dip and drop. So just trying to balance out your meals.
I think it was you two girls that said to me, isn't it? Like you should always have a rainbow plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's like the healthy. I do that. I do that at home. I've got your book at home. That's why I've read your book. I do try and be like quite good with a rainbow plate. I started teaching my husband and our flatmate that because they were kind of like classic boys. It was like steak and something or steak and potatoes, whatever. And now we all got into a bit of a fitness streak, especially before, a health streak before the wedding. And we really noticed the difference. Just like...
Did you?
Yeah, we did this organic food box, which actually we did it because of cost. It was like 150 quid between the three of us for a week, so it's 50 quid each. Mm-hmm. And they give you can choose what you want, really. You want meats or veg or whatever. And then they give you all your milk, whether it's dairy alternatives, so like organic or oat milk and whatnot. We were trying to biohack. It's very hard, but like just cutting out things like rapeseed oil and whatnot. And we would notice such a huge difference in our health and our sleep patterns and also our weight. I mean, we weren't drinking either. I didn't drink for 4 months, and that was really not upsetting, but what was upsetting is the amount of weight I lost from not doing that.
Yeah, it is.
I never used to not lose weight from not drinking when I was younger, but now I definitely see the difference between if I've like had quite a boozy month and if I haven't.
Yeah, we said that's the one thing that would change. And sleep.
I'd be probably the fittest I've ever been when I was pregnant.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
No, she was
I was
absolutely
an
ripped.
absolute
Yeah, but you were doing like Peloton and everything.
literally
Had like
the
a
day I gave
6-pack
birth, I was-
over her bum.
See, I'm actually like devastated trying to beat my pregnant self now. I'm nowhere near
bar's been
myself.
set.
Genuinely, I'm nowhere near it. I'm not even halfway to where I was.
Yeah, but then that
It's so boring,
you're,
but
no, you're busy being a mama.
yeah, but it's both boring 9 months, but
Also,
you are
being
fit.
a mum is quite like requires a level of fitness, I think.
Yeah. No, Mama, Lisa's
energy.
son, yeah, he's like
An
a
absolute
hurricane.
chunk.
Whereas I've got
And he's
a
like
wee,
a stone.
I've got a wee Captain
So everyone's like, oh, your
Pencil,
arms
she
have got...
sits and
Yeah.
draws and that.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, she's
It's so funny. It's
Captain
almost
Sensible.
like both your children are like mini yous.
Yeah,
I know, they are.
I know.
They are. They are.
Bear's an absolute hurricane. Honestly,
It's
he's
so
like,
weird.
Yeah, there's like him and Dad's get Ari just sits and she's like, it's like hypo.
But she talks. She talks
and chat.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
but you
Bear's
still
like,
do that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and
literally
look.
mini
Yeah.
And look, yeah, and then meanwhile, Bear's like kamikazing himself over the back of a truck before he could even crawl. You're like, where's it gone? Oh, right. Oh God, it's yeah. I think just buying a 2-litre bottle of water is the best hack
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
getting
I mean,
it.
electrolytes for me as well. Like, so I started using those fizz things, and also just like now having the wee sachet where I can just put it in a bottle of water because I know I'm going to be dehydrated. So I usually would do one at the beginning and one at the end. But I have to brush I brush my teeth in between because I read that electrolytes are just full of sugar. It can be really bad for your teeth as well. I don't know. I do read up a lot and like.
I was going to say, like, what are you? Where are you on your health?
I'm definitely much more mature.
You know about gut
I was going to
health,
say,
like, you know
because you're quite informed. I was going to say, if our 20-year-old selves, when we first met Katiras, like we were like, oh yeah, I use electrolytes. You have pale Rosie on your rider. We'd be like, who the fuck are these?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have tequila soda. But like, it's things like, I think you just become a bit more aware of what works for you and what doesn't. Like, I've not ever really eaten red meat most of my life, only because it just doesn't agree with my stomach. It used to make my stomach cramp if like, I've never had a steak because it freaks me out, that slab of meat on and thing. But sometimes I will find myself craving like a minced beef burger. And I usually think that's probably because I've not had much red meat in my diet. And I give blood quite a lot, so they will tell, sometimes I've not been able to do it if my iron's been low. So I know when I need to like be a bit more savvy or just, because I think obviously red meat can help you much more than just like a leaf of spinach, although I do prefer the spinach. But I think it's like moderation. Obviously I have my days where like we might be hungover and double Deliveroo, and then other days.
Oh, I love a double Deliveroo day.
I had a day.
What would you go? Give us an example.
Well,
Double
so
Deliveroo day.
well, maybe I can use an example. So recently, oh God, this is an example of a bad weekend. So I'd had
No judges here, honey.
No, so I had a busy week, and then I had my own club night on the Friday night. And the thing is, like, we're running a club night and you're very invested and you want people to come down. And I do my club night to really give a platform to other DJs. And I had these amazing DJs I was so excited about. And the whole night was quite stressful because one DJ's flights were not coming and so we're having to rearrange set times and blah, blah. Ended up being a great night. And when you get really, like, fun and excited, too many shots of tequila happened. And then I had to fly to a gig the next day where I was presenting first, and then I had a DJ gig at 3:30 a.m. So I finished the Friday night at 3 a.m. I probably didn't get home until like 4:30 because I had to get the light box and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then my flight was at 11, so I probably got about 45 minutes sleep before I got to
just hearing this is making me anxious.
Yeah, no.
Amsterdam. And then I got to Amsterdam and then went straight into rehearsals. I hadn't quite read the brief properly of the job. And I'd done this job before, but usually it's just me to camera doing pre-recorded links. And I was suddenly in a stadium and I was like, why are we in a stadium? And they were like, oh, you're actually presenting the awards on stage in front of 44,000 people.
Oh, no.
So
Mildly hungover on no sleep. Oh my
I
God.
had to do like a full day's rehearsal on 45 minutes sleep, and then luckily I thought I was gonna have my own dressing room, so I was like, I'll get in a wee disco nap before we actually get to showtime. And then the dressing room didn't happen, so then I had to get changed in the toilet. And then I just had to power through, and we did the pre-recorded links, and then there was a 2-hour break. And in the 2-hour break there was 2 DJs that played, and they were full on techno, and I basically fell asleep during those DJs. And then I woke up, sorted my face out, got on stage, did the awards show, and then I finished that about midnight. So this is still on like 45 minutes. Plus maybe I like a wee disco nap on the airplane, which is probably about an hour. And then the 2 hours during the DJ set. So like sprinkled through the day. And then my DJ set was at 3:30, but I didn't finish the presenting job until 12:30. So by the time I got back to the hotel, if I went to sleep at that point, I was not going to get up.
Yeah, no.
So I kind of showered, took off my eyelashes, put on a new dress, sorted my face out, and walked to the venue and was starving. But actually, case in point, at that point, because I was on site and there was catering, I was like, please, can I just have a plate of healthiness and rainbow? So I had
Rainbow.
it was actually, they had this amazing, I'm funny with vegan food because I don't like man-made vegan food. I like our imitation food. I just like you say, plant-based stuff. This thing, was it Tempeh? Tempeh.
You love Tempeh.
You love
Yeah.
Tempeh.
So it was delicious. So they gave me that, loads of veg, salsa, like, well, I saw salads, like tomato, cucumber, and then there was like lots of chickpeas and like a little bit of rice. So that was a nice, healthy plate of food, but that's probably the only thing I managed to eat that day because it was all a bit mad dash. And everyone else was drinking, I was like, can't drink. Then I got to the gig at 3:30. Well, I got to the gig about 2. And I got there and I was like, do you want to drink? I was like, I'll have a beer because keep me going. And then I DJed to 4:30 and then I didn't get home until 5:15 and then I had to get picked up at 5:30 for the airport. And I thought, well, it's better that I just fly and get home and then I can sleep all day at home rather than getting kicked out of a hotel at 12 and not flying until 6 and blah, blah. So I got home about 10, slept from 10 until about 4:30.
No wonder.
And then I got up and got my delivery. And what did we go for? We went for a Rana curry.
Oof, right, nice. Like
Because they have like all the they do this amazing spinach thing, which I love. But also you get your butter chicken, which is just ghee and cream and deliciousness. And we didn't double deliver it, but yeah, that was one of my go-to thingy.
A curry.
Honestly, I don't know how do you get this might have already happened, but do you get like the fear of burnout or have you ever like hit the wall? Because like just the thought of that is making me feel
that was quite
sad
hectic, but what I
for
knew
you.
was that actually that week after I wasn't gonna be that busy and I could kind of plow on and whatnot and find my sleep where I could. So the Monday I slept in quite late, so I slept 10 till 4 that day, got up, watched a box set and then went to bed about midnight and then woke up at 9, which is still good 9 hours sleep and you feel great after that. I hit burnout this year, which is quite shocking. Because I think I've always felt like I'm a bit of a machine, but there was a week where my summer was pretty wild in terms of my travel already, and then we started a new dance morning show, which meant I had to find days in my schedule, what days in my week that I could get back to record and do this show alongside my video show on a Thursday night, and it was kind of really hard in the first place to change all that whole schedule. But then to be on and go in and record for 7 hours and then do a live show and whatnot, a live radio show, and then go straight to the next gig. Like I was coming into the radio studio straight from the plane with my suitcase, and you have all the extra things of like trudging through London with a roller case that isn't designed for roller cases, and then getting home at 11 after my radio show and then packing a bag and being straight on the road the next day and just figuring out where you're going to find outfits and toiletries and all this. But it was like early September. I'd had a few people who'd come out quite a lot, and so I was kind of socializing a lot with my gigs because I was doing a lot of different like support slots this year, which a lot of all my friends are really excited about, obviously, and I love my friends coming out to support me and my family. But yeah, I think I'd been on the road non-stop the whole summer, and then it was the Thursday of my radio show, got back, packed, got to Ibiza, DJ'd at Ushuaia for Calvin, which was great. Yeah, and then went on to do my Free Your Mind night in the Toilets at High, which was a 6-hour takeover, which I was DJing pretty much the full night, apart from an hour with the other DJ.
What, you did just 6 hours?
Well, you take over the whole toilet for your club night, and it was just me and one other girl. So we were going to do it back to back the whole night, and she was like, "Go and have a rest for an hour and a half." So I did that, but you don't really rest.
No,
because you're thinking like, what am I going to do when I get there?
Yeah, and then I had to get up for a wedding the next day, and I just woke up and I just couldn't speak. I actually couldn't speak. And then my partner messaged, he's like, "You all right? Are you on your way to the airport?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just getting up for the shower. I'm exhausted." And he phoned me, and I just burst into tears. And it was more that I just couldn't speak because I've never not been able to speak.
I know, I can't imagine you
It was
silent.
almost like being in a bit of shock. Like I couldn't function. And then I had friends who were out that weekend, and I just said I'm just gonna lie in their company, but I just don't want to be present or active. And I just lay on like a sunbed whilst they all chat shit around me, and it was nice because I just it didn't require any effort. But then I also had a huge guilt for missing my friend's wedding and figuring out whether I don't know, just all these things. But yeah, I had to have a good week or two after that where I was just like, I need to look after myself.
Yeah, but our nervous system, like when we're constantly in that fight or flight mode, it's like dangerous, isn't it? Like when you're...
Yeah, definitely. I think like there's more and more people that are getting burnout now. It's just like modern day life, and like, you know, it's not the normal 9 to 5 you clock off and everyone just relaxes of an evening. I mean, yours is a particularly extreme case, but yeah, more and more people are getting it.
I think WhatsApp also put the deathbed.
Do you know that your body doesn't know the difference between perceived stress and stress? So if you were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, like back in the day, it's the same like physical chemical response in your body than getting a WhatsApp that pisses you off.
It's just more like, I hate people who use WhatsApp for business because you can't put an out of office on. And even recently, when I took a break after my Brazil trip, I was like, I'm taking the next 2 days off. My WhatsApp was constantly going off with people asking me about work stuff. And I actually at one point nearly just picked up my phone and threw it in the sea because I couldn't understand. And also I think there's a lack of respect when people don't respect that you go, I don't take days off often. So for me to turn around and be like, hey guys, I'm not working for the next 2 days. And there was nothing that I was being asked on those WhatsApp that couldn't have been dealt with in 2 days' time. I was taking 2 days off. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. But then also it's the wash of like, or the onslaught of when you have not looked at your WhatsApp or dealt with that, because I was just archiving them all, that you then have having to suddenly be like knuckle down and get through it. So and actually luckily my WhatsApp stopped backing up now, so I have a real excuse of saying like, you can't WhatsApp me. And also I get a lot of like people who send me music and pluggers and whatnot. Someone sent me a track the other day and I was like, please do not send me music on WhatsApp, keep it on email.
Yeah,
and everyone respects it now. You have
to. Got like 146 unread WhatsApp.
No, that gives me anxiety. You know what actually makes me want to vomit is the sound of a WhatsApp notification.
I don't have
you
walk
past someone, you can hear like the ping, and I'm like,
yeah,
like it gives me like, it puts me on edge. But that I'm red. Just go on and put mark.
We look at it. See
why don't you just do mark all red and the red that little red dial?
Oh yeah,
oh my god.
That.
Well, you can just go on. Red. Mark all is red. Done.
I've got a 12-hour flight tomorrow. I was going to just fire into it then and just start replying.
So there's someone I know who I used to work with who cleared their entire inbox. Could you imagine?
I couldn't do that.
No, they just put everything into folders. Oh, right. So it means when they go on to their inbox, there's nothing.
That's your brain.
I do have folders.
Do you do that?
Annabelle,
she's the most organised person in the world.
To be in your head.
Are you?
You're so organised.
On Teams, just like at Lisa, at Alana, just a reminder.
File is here.
File is here. Before we do talk, she'll say, here's the script, here's the deck.
But then you find everything, don't you? You can see it. But I've tried to clear my inbox. It's just impossible. But I do have folders.
Yeah.
So why is our nervous system so closely linked to gut health? It's to do with like rest and digest mode, isn't it? So the opposite of being in fight or flight is rest or digest.
Yeah, so you've got your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, and your sympathetic nervous system, which is essentially what Lisa was saying, like your fight or flight. So when you're stressed, your body's going to react in the same way, like you said, like whether it's a saber-toothed tiger behind you or literally like an email in your inbox, your body's going to get that increased cortisol, which is then going to do all of these things in your body and do not great things for your gut especially. But then you've also got your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest, and that's when you're calm and things like that, and that's what you want to try and tap into to help kind of decrease your stress.
That's why I love flying.
Yeah, well that's what I was going to say, like that's your rest and digest mode. That's your rest and digest mode.
I slept for 10 hours on my flight to Australia last year. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. And then the 6 hours in the next leg, I was like, this is also because I've got this neck brace thing. Have you heard about these neck braces?
No.
Shout out to, this is not a spawn, but there's a place called Turtle from Glasgow. TRTLE, I think they're called. It's a neck like ledge rather than a pillow. So you know when you have a neck pillow, you have a bump at the back and your neck goes forward. This is like a ledge, and it's like a wrap around fleet, and it's like a fleece. And I've got every single person I know onto it. So many DJs I know use it. And it was my husband's mum that had one in a flight. And I was like, where'd you get that from? She's like, QVC. And yeah, it's like a ledge. So you basically position it where you want, and you just go like that. And your neck doesn't like ping up forward, really and then you don't get really like soreness. And then if you like wake up, you just move around the other side, and then you do that, and then you can do it at the front, and it just means also no like double chin situation. I was just about to say,
maybe that's why your jawline's so brilliant.
Well, yeah, I think because you can do this. Although someone did tell me we've all got social media chins now, so now when I look at my phone,
technique's up.
Everyone's getting that posture, aren't
oh my god, yeah, my mum has that from working. She has
So Pilates is good.
While we've got Annabel here, you're probably similar to us back in the day with falling forward to a lot of like wellness fads and shite.
Oh yeah.
Is there any myth that you would like Annabel to bust? That's right, bust. Yeah.
Well, I suppose like biohacking seems to be the big thing that everyone's doing at the moment. But like, how realistic is it? Like, is it like worth it?
I think there's, well, I don't know how much science there is behind it as well. And it's quite an expensive, kind of very exclusive thing. And I think with a lot of things like health and wellness, everyone's looking for like, I don't know, this expensive quick fix or whatever, but they're not getting the basics right first.
Right.
And like, so we're all kind of, the whole mission of like the gut stuff is being like affordable and accessible. And I would always say to start with making sure you're getting all of your fundamentals there first before you go into all those things. It's like, the same with all the expensive green powders and pills and potions and anything like that. It's the same kind of idea. Like, are you actually doing all the basics? So are you eating enough fiber? Are you getting enough variety? Are you drinking enough? Are you moving regularly? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you managing your stress? If you're not doing any of those, you can do all these extra additional little things, but you're not going to be feeling your best if you're not getting all the basics first. I always try and say, look at that first. And then, I mean, if you're smashing all of it and you've got the time and the resource, then of course you can look into the additional things, but the majority of us, I would say, probably aren't.
No amount of lemon water is going to save you, hon.
Is it true that most of like the vitamin, say we all take supplements, is it true that if we take vitamin supplements, like majority of them they're not actually absorbed?
Yeah, so like your body can only absorb and digest a lot of certain types of vitamins, like a certain amount. It's the same with like protein, like the best way I got it explained to me was like in one of my exams, and you literally imagine your protein supply is like a bath, and once you go over that, it literally like flows over the edges and you can't absorb it. And it's the same with a lot of vitamins and stuff. And also, if you're eating a balanced diet, you're probably getting the majority of vitamins and minerals you need from your diet. You don't need all of these expensive things. So yeah, a lot of them you can just literally be peeing out.
Really?
Expensive weed. What do you take?
Well, I'm really bad. I don't really take much because I read about this thing that we just don't intake most of it. But when it gets to winter, I definitely like up the vitamin D.
Oh, yeah.
Vitamin B.
I have
a vitamin B12 shot because when I had a blood test, I was really low on that, even though I was getting like a shot every 3 months, or whatever. So I need to be up on that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll take magnesium, but I never know when to take magnesium because it's meant to help with your sleep. But I don't want to take magnesium in the morning and then make me sleepy for the rest of the day.
I was going to say it depends which type you're taking because there's different types of magnesium can help with different types of things. But the one for sleep you could find to take before bed. But yeah, there's ones that for muscle aches and stuff, like because magnesiums actually can be better absorbed through the skin. So some of the rubs
I used to do a spray when I was hammering sometimes that spray.
It can be tingly.
Stings,
yeah. So like it depends what you're taking it for, but if you're taking the one for sleep, then fine before bed.
That reminds me of working in Harrods because there used to. Do you remember there was this cream that they brought out and it was called Fat Girl Sleep. And it was a sleep cream that had stuff in it that was meant to help you sleep and also help you get rid of your cellulite, which we now know is scientifically impossible. The cream.
We've got Scottish genetics.
I had to wear pajamas on the shop floor and sell this cream. Actually, I started Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters.
Did he buy the cream?
No, he wanted the pajamas and I could
just take the clothes off, pal.
Ever since I was a kid, like, you get pammed porridge is good for you, like, as a breakfast. Mm-hmm. Since I was a kid, if I had a bowl of porridge, honestly, I would get the most insane feeling of hunger. Like, it's meant to keep you full. I'd get this feeling in my stomach that was like, I need to eat, and it makes me so hungry.
What are you having on your porridge?
Either.
What are you having
on the porridge?
Well, just water or milk.
And nothing on it?
No, I used to put sugar in my Weetabix, but not in my porridge.
Yes, but you're not having I was saying going back to the balanced meal. So you've got your good slow release carbs, so you're not adding in your protein and your healthy
Even
fats
now as an adult, I will not have porridge for breakfast.
It's a great
porridge.
one.
Remember you used to get that?
Salt?
A Scottish thing.
Salt? No. I put salt on anything, but I would not put it on my porridge.
Yeah, salt. Dad used to put salt on his porridge.
But if you balance it, if you add in your sources of protein and healthy fats, it's going to keep you fuller for longer. It's because it's not a balanced meal without it. So
you could put some of your new favourite tempeh in there.
So is tempeh good for you? Is that man-made?
Fermented.
Right?
No.
Fermented.
Because what I used to find when I started doing vegan food, I was saying the man-made...
Are you actually vegan now?
No, I just like a vegetarian. I don't often cook meat at home, but I like a vegetarian option. But I also won't eat chicken and fish. I'm not like bad.
Yeah.
I'm not specific. I just do whatever my body feels like it. But I quite like trying veggie stuff. I've really gone off vegan food because there's a certain cheese that everyone uses, vegan cheese, which is pretty much just full man-made chemicals, and the way my stomach reacts to that is insane. I don't have normal milk because I used to get bloated when I used to do that kids TV show. I'd get bloated so much after lunch, and I was always being really healthy, like salads, and every time it gets to the afternoon, I'd be so bloated. And the only thing that I was having consistently was a cup of tea with milk in it. And when I got rid of the milk, I stopped getting bloated. Really? So I don't think I have like a lactose intolerance, but I just like balloon from whatever. So now
some people can be more sensitive to it. It doesn't mean you have to have like full on lactose intolerance. Like you can have a sensitivity, like with a lot of things.
Are you an oat milk, flat white sort of gal?
I tie between all of them, really. I flirt with all. I've flirted with all dairy alternatives.
That's good, but
I did do soy for a while, but then I started noticing I was getting, I don't know, a band. I don't know if this is me just making up, but a band of like fat around my stomach, and someone told me it's because soy has a lot of estrogen in it.
I think the amount you'd probably be having in tea and coffee, you'd be fine. Yeah.
It's just because I was having a fat face.
I love how like we're always like so-and-so told me and so-and-so told me about this.
I know, I
can't remember who told you, but
I love hearing all the hearsay. But one thing, it was you girls that introduced me to gut health, and also because obviously the kind of tests that were done on you both as twins, and I remember you were just like firing all these amazing facts at me, and it has made me more conscious. Like I love having like fermented stuff or pickled stuff. I mean, I love pickles anyway. Do you know there's a pickle festival in America?
What? Talk to me.
Yeah, you can actually go to a pickle festival. It's like they have pickles at everything. You can have pickle in your ice cream cone. You can have pickle with melted cheese.
You
can have pickle with everything.
Way to my heart.
Yeah.
And pickleback like shots as well. Have you had this?
Love that.
Yeah.
Love a ginger shot. Love or like kind of just turmeric and anything that's like meant to be anti-inflammatory. I used to react to the charcoal shots. Remember you used to do them?
Yes.
I used to react badly to them.
Used to down all those charcoal tablets.
Yeah. But I just, they didn't really agree with me. But I feel like I'm quite conscious of it. But then also, like, I'll have like a nice soup for lunch and then follow it with maybe a retreat.
It's balanced.
Balance.
Yes. 80-20.
We always laugh because it's like our mum's always like, oh, I'm just going to have a wee treat. Have you got any wee treats in your house?
Watching my weakness is like if I have a night in the morning, I don't have to speak to anyone, which is my favourite thing ever because I can just be mute and silent and haven. I love having a little glass of red with really salty crisps.
Oh, yeah.
Sit there. Or a little tiny like chocolate bar and then just like have a little, because if you sip the red wine, then with the chocolate, it melts in your mouth. So that's how we treat myself.
Polyphenols.
What's polyphenols?
Red wine. Come on, explain it.
Basically like anti-inflammatory things from lots of plant-based foods, but they're in red wine.
Red wine and dark chocolate.
This is why I came on this podcast.
This is what you came for.
I mean, just need to
small amounts in
know.
the red wine, we have to caveat.
Yeah.
What, the say again?
Small amounts in the red wine.
My take on it is I am going to have a red wine over a white wine. Because
Always.
it's better for my... So, do you know what I mean?
White
Take
wine
from it
makes
what
me
you
a
will.
psycho.
But yeah, polyphenols, same. White wine witch. Oh my
white wine makes me,
I'm an absolute white
speaking
wine
of
witch.
WhatsApp, white wine witch, she loves WhatsApp.
Oh, do
Random.
you?
Both of us. We're both white wine witches.
See, I used to do that on things like Instagram and Twitter and whatnot and be like, is that phone away? Just like, put the phone away.
Confiscate. So I think that you've probably got some good poo stories from your travels.
Oh, I've got some fantastic ones. What good about? I mean, I suppose the one bad thing about long haul flights is it always ruins my pooing cycles, shall I say?
Yeah.
that's it.
Or just toilet cycles. Obviously, you're quite dehydrated anyway, but then often if I've had a long haul flight, I won't go to the toilet for like a day after.
Constipated.
Yeah, it takes a while to figure out.
If you're on a different time zone, that can affect it as well because your body can get used to like going at a certain time as well. So if you're like in a different time zone, then your body's like completely off kilter.
Well, this is what I try and be quite good at because apparently air hostesses eat at the local time and not what the plane.
Adjust,
so if I know that I'm getting on a flight and they're going to serve, I'm such a geek. I go on to see when they serve the meals, if it's like the light snack first and then the main meal.
Where can you find that information?
If you go into the information for your flight, it'll show you. Usually if you have a light meal first and what else, but they often would just serve it to you at the UK time. Whereas if you know you're going 5 hours ahead or behind, so I will try and either avoid, take stuff that I eat to the local time because I know that instantly helps a lot.
But the aerostess is like, we're going to have to come back down with the trolley again because she wants to eat on
but also
DJ.
I usually miss the first run anyway because I'm like passed out. But yeah, I mean, my favourite poo story, I mean, my husband will hate me for talking about this on a podcast. My favourite poo story is the time I experienced my first ever Notting Hill Carnival, and really wanted to get into like the authenticity of it, and like, no, I wanted to try everything. I wanted to see all the floats and all the dancers. I also wanted to try all the food, and I went to like the first food stall I could see that was serving jerk chicken. I mean, when you're young, you don't really think about like whether like street
E.
food
coli.
store. Yeah.
I thought this is where this is going, is it not?
Don't really worry about E. coli. I remember we went to this friend's house party, and it wasn't my friend, it was someone else's friend, because these guys were super posh. They had a house, they lived in Notting Hill, basically. Like, and within an hour of eating this chicken that I'd had, which was delicious, by the way, I suddenly started feeling really sweaty and really minging and really weird. And I realised I was about to shit myself at this house party. And so I had to stand up against the wall. There was 5 people in the queue. There was only one toilet. There was 5 people in the queue.
That's the thing with house parties, there's only one bloody toilet.
And I remember
a nightmare.
standing against the wall and clenching so hard, while like beads of sweat started like appearing on my head. It's like that scene in Bridesmaids, which is my favourite scene ever. And then a few more of my friends came through the door and they saw me and they're like, what is going on, Mario? And they thought I was like off my face, basically. They thought I was just like, and then they kissed me and they're like, oh, she's really clammy. Anyway, as I got to the door, I finally was like the last person waiting. The person who came out of the toilet was like, it's not flushing. And I was like, oh my God. But I just had to deal with it. So, I mean, all hell broke loose, both ends. And,
both ends.
Oh my God, it was
I've all been
awful.
there.
And I just remember like you have to take off your clothes because you're like really hot and sweaty. And then luckily I did manage to flush the toilet and I managed to clean the sink and everything. And there was no evidence of it. And then I just sprayed a hell of a lot of perfume.
Yeah.
And just like patted down my face a bit of water. And I think I got in and I left the house party straight away because I did not want anyone knowing that was me.
But there's nothing worse than that feeling. You can feel it. I had it on honeymoon. We had food poisoning, and we got to Bangkok and we had all the street food, and we got home and we went to bed and we woke up and we literally were like, "There's one sink and one toilet," and we were both like, bleh, bleh, bleh.
Happy
and I was
marriage.
like, "Is this marriage? Is this what it's like?" But fucking awful.
It's worse when you first start dating. I remember when I first started dating George and we went to Tenerife and he got water poisoning. Like the water, it was really bad. He was really ill for about 6 weeks, but like it happened in like day 2 of the holiday and we'd obviously had like really nice restaurants booked and whatnot. And we were still quite new into our relationship. So I had to go into the balcony with the speaker. He was in the toilet with the taps running like late. So we just couldn't hear anything. Whereas now you just wouldn't care.
Yeah,
now you do.
I do in front of Luke now.
I don't do it. I can't. I love a good burp. I'm always good at burping, but I'm not really a farty person.
Do you know your 14 farts a day? I think it is the normal. That's a lot, eh? But that's normal.
I don't think
in your
sleep,
sleep. Like, I'm
maybe.
not ashamed to say it, but I just think maybe in your sleep.
Do you know what? George says I fart in my sleep and I'm really upset.
There you go. It's in your sleep.
I don't believe him. Do you definitely? Because I don't think people fart in their sleeps, do they?
You wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. I mean, it's fine for you.
He always says I do, and it really upsets me because there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, George, you're telling the truth, pal.
When I was younger, there was one time I farted so loud in my sleep I woke myself up.
Do you know, that's like babies do that. Like Bear does that. It's like
But yeah, no, I really like to think that I don't, because I'm much more of a burpy person. What does that mean for my gut health then? Does that say anything?
just better out than any.
I think that's just a diet of iron brew as a kid, basically.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah, remember iron brew.
Also, just like school dinners in Scotland, our canteen was called the Fuel Zone. It was sponsored by Iron Brew, and all you could get was a slice of
Sponsored by Iron
pizza.
Brew.
Yeah, all you could get was a slice of pizza, chips, or a burger.
Yeah.
And if you wanted something healthy, it was a tuna sandwich on white bread.
Yeah.
And then the only juice you could get was Iron Brew, but it was like the syrup thing. I mean, I love an Iron Brew, don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And also for a wee energy
I
boost.
was getting slagged the other day in the office for calling everything juice. You know, because we'd say like fizzy juice, orange juice, apple
Diluting
juice, everything's
juice.
diluting juice. And I was like, do you not say like pop or fizz? Or am I? No, it's all juice.
Did you ever call it ginger?
No, that's
No, it's a Glasgow
Glasgow
thing.
thing. It's a Glasgow thing, yeah, we used to call it ginger. But no, I've always called it juice. Yeah, I remember coming to London when I used to talk about diluting juice, and people were like, "What?" Especially on the radio. I said it on the radio once, and everyone was like, "What on earth is that?" And I was like,
what do they call it? Oh,
Squash.
Squash. I call it squash.
Yeah.
"Do you have squash?" I feel like you're not a person who
I
drinks
don't have
squash.
squash.
Yeah, I don't have
I
squash.
used to have squash.
I should just sit here and list foods that you do and don't have. I feel like I could play like the Annabel bingo card.
Yeah. Honestly, we just aspire to be Anne.
What is your secret like treat that like if you shouldn't really have every day, but if you could have every day?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Bark. fruit bark. Bark. You know that bark that you
I was
make?
going to say, I love nut butters. So like all of the like treats that you've got, like nut butter and all that dark chocolates. Have you tried Hue chocolate? H-U?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's insane.
This all sounds too healthy to me.
Oh no, it's.
Do you ever have a
it does
cake?
Not the biggest dessert person. If
You're
I was going to
not
have
sweet tooth?
anything, I'd be like savoury. So
Savoury.
I'd go more
You like a wee
crisps and
drink.
stuff.
Yeah, you like a drink.
Obviously. Oh yeah, I was thinking more
mark.
food, but yeah,
Yeah.
anything alcoholic.
But
Here's
Annabelle
the
comes
thing.
into the office is like everything's home, like brought in, home cooked. You know what I mean? Like
You
for
make me
lunch.
sound like right nerd. She loves
Yeah,
organisation.
no,
She loves
she's
spreadsheet.
amazing. And I come on, I need to go to grab a sandwich on the. Do you know what I mean? You're just so organised. But that
That
does
is
come with
good.
organisation, bringing stuff from home.
Well, there's
bringing a
reason.
lunchbox.
It's also I can't eat onion and garlic, so trying to buy anything out is a
so
nightmare.
annoying. One of my friends is allergic
Yeah.
to garlic, and she says restaurants hate her.
Yes, and everything.
And she says sometimes they would just flat. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm allergic to garlic," and they go, "Yeah, yeah," and then she gets it, and she can taste it straight away now. And she said like chefs obviously.
Most of mine won't give it, but they'll just bring the most like bland thing. They'll be like, "Oh, it's fine, we'll do it without," and then you just get this really sad meal, and you're like, "Thank
I remember my friend had that with being vegan. Like we would go for lunch, and then she would be like, "Oh, I'm
Aubergine.
vegan," and they gave her like a slice of bread with a tomato on it, and I was like, "It's so sad."
Shan.
Yeah.
Shady.
Shan.
Shady. Speaking of being more Annabelle, we should probably end on what's the one new thing that you've learned? Because you're quite clued up, but what's the
This
new
resting
thing?
and digest. This rest and digest is a
Yeah.
big thing. I think because I don't really rest.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's no rest. I'll just hit digest bit.
And also, it was actually something interesting you were saying about the strength thing at the beginning with like as you get older needing that.
Yeah.
Because the reason I really enjoy now doing Reform Pilates is because I notice even on flights I've stopped being as floppy.
Yeah.
Like that,
Posture.
like whatnot. I'm much stronger, and so like I don't get back pain. My hip doesn't hurt, so I
from
feel
the core.
yeah. So it's nice to hear that that's true. But also, you solved my porridge riddle. Thank you very much.
You need to get some cashews
and
on
also
there.
you're allowed to keep dancing because it's good for
Yes.
microbes.
Yes.
There you
Here's
go.
one thing. Is it true that tequila makes you happy? Keeps you happy?
Does it?
Compared to other alcohols.
It is an
So, did I
upper.
tell you this?
No, well,
you
the
tell me
saying
this?
is tequila makes you happy because lots of
It's the only
DJs
alcohol that's an
that,
upper.
right?
yes,
Yes.
But is that true? 'Cause
I mean,
that's literally
I
every
think I
DJ's
told
excuse for
Annabelle.
having.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like
I
you're the
I was
one
going to
that
say,
told me
this is
that,
coming
so-
from Alana, not the expert on the podcast.
No, so I like
Caveat.
I have literally been told this by so many people, but I
So
just
there,
wanted
but
to
maybe
be.
it's all
Is it
circles.
factually correct? Because I find if I DJ, if I was to have anything, I would have like tequila soda.
Same.
That's my favorite drink.
It's my new jam.
Yeah, and it doesn't make you sad or like I can't do gin, it makes you weird.
Yeah.
Or like but I find it does make me less sleepy and less sad. the
Yeah,
next
honestly,
day.
I
don't know.
heard that. But
And loads of DJs will have tequila on the radio rather than any other spirit,
Really?
but because people have said tequila makes you happy, but I just don't know whether it's scientifically
Yeah, I
verified.
was going to say, I don't know if there may be. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know where you heard it.
I can't remember.
I mean, let's just fact check that in the description. of this
Anecdotally,
episode.
obviously.
This is not factually correct. This is just DJs wanting to have more tequila on the radio.
So let's have a tequila and tempeh party then next time, guys.
That sounds
Yeah.
awful.
Tequila's like tempeh soaked in tequila.
Yeah.
Oh. You make a chocolate mousse out of it, don't you? Is that it?
Silk and tofu.
Amy's got the lowdown on tequila.
Tequila is a depressant.
Ah.
Other types of alcohol.
Oh.
So it's a myth.
Sorry,
Well, if it's a placebo, it's a placebo.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me happy.
Makes me happy as well.
Bye.
The end.
Did this got you excited? Join us on our 100 Days to Hack Your Gut Health program. The link is in the bio. Come and find us on Instagram at The Gut Stuff. In fact, we're at The Gut Stuff pretty much everywhere. So hit subscribe. Your gut will thank you for it. Keep your shit together and have a gut day.